Now, I've done lamb shoulder a few times on this show, but I've never done a Korean-inspired lamb shoulder. This is such an interesting dish because I'm going to slow cook this lamb shoulder with kimchi. Now, I have a gorgeous 2 kilogram piece of lamb shoulder. I've just cleaned it up. I've asked my butcher to take the shank off and just to leave one bone. This is just going to make it easier to cook. Now, I'll preheat my stew pot. Use a large, deep stew pot just like this one, and you'll need a stew pot that goes in the oven because we're going to cook it in there for majority of the time. Now, we need to oil our lamb shoulder, so a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil. Also a generous pinch of sea salt flakes, and we'll just press that all over the meat. We'll turn it over and then add some more olive oil and some salt. Just pat that. Now, I love this stew pot because it's ceramic and it makes it so much easier to brown the meat. It doesn't burn as quickly, so we're going to get a lovely crust on it. Once we get a crust, I'm going to turn it over and seal it on the other side. Sealing it off is crucial because that's going to help give more flavour to our sauce. So to start, 1 onion, and you can be pretty rough with this, just slice it. Also 2 cloves of garlic, and I'll just bruise them. I'm only using 2 cloves of garlic for this because there's a lot of garlic that's in this kimchi. Also some ginger, and I'll just finely slice that. This is going to cook for a few hours, so once this is cooked, they're going to become incredibly sweet and tender. That's why I'm not being too pedantic on how I chop all these veggies. All right, let's turn over our meat. And look at that, a gorgeous colour. It's caramelised. So we're going to give that another 2 minutes. I'm going to remove it, and then I'll add our vegetables. Okay, these vegetables are nicely caramelised, so let's add a few more ingredients. Some apple juice, very traditional in Korean style cooking. They usually use nashi pears in a lot of their marinades, so I'm going to use this for the sweetness. In it goes. And for some saltiness, 1/2 cup roughly of light soy, so I'll roughly measure that out. And then for a hit of acidity, some black vinegar. It's my new favourite ingredient this year. Black vinegar has a really deep flavour and is going to give this dish some complexity, so in it goes. Now I'll bring that up to a high boil, give it a stir. It smells so good. Big and bold flavours for this one. And we'll also add our kimchi, so it can go in as is. We don't need to add any extra chilli. Into that, I'll add 1 cup of water, and then 1 cup of chicken stock. So I'll measure out 1 cup of our chicken stock. And in it goes. And you can see it's already starting to boil again. So we'll place our gorgeous lamb shoulder back in. And this is why a stew pot like this is fantastic, because it's high sides. You can see that majority of the lamb shoulder is submerged in that liquid, and I'm not completely submerging it because I want a nice crust on the top of this lamb shoulder. And now for the lid. This one's unique because it has a condensation lid, which means that all of the moisture is going to be trapped into this pot, keeping the meat moist. So lid can go on. Now this goes into the oven, preheated my oven at 170 degrees, and this is going to cook for 2.5 to 3 hours, or until the meat falls away from the bone. All right, the lamb's come out of the oven, and what I did was take the lid off and turn the grill on at the end, and then just left it under the grill for about 10 minutes just to dry out the top and make that fat slightly crispy. Now to serve this, I'll carefully remove it from the sauce. It is so soft, it'll fall away from the bone, so just be careful, particularly if you want to serve it whole at the table. The sauce smells divine. I can still smell that kimchi, but it's almost become slightly more rich with all those other flavours. All right, into a shallow platter like this. And a little piece has fallen off, but I want to show you how soft this lamb is. See, I can use a spoon just to pull it away And that, for me, is heaven. My favourite way of eating meat. Yum. Oh, we'll put that also onto the plate. And then the next thing we're going to do is grab that sauce and put a small amount on the top, just a little bit, and then the rest can go into the bowl. And now to finally crown this, sesame seeds, toasted sesame seeds over the top. Another ingredient that's used prominently in Korean food. And this is almost giving it that second crust, and that's why I added just some of that extra liquid. You almost just want to press it on the top, like I'm doing here with my hands. That looks perfect to me, and I serve that with some steamed rice and some steamed greens. I'm gonna have a taste of this little piece right here. It's staring at me. That is heaven right there. Kimchi, ginger, lots of garlic. I love that. Please try it. You're gonna love it just as much as I do.